Hello and welcome to the Unite podcast. You are about to listen to another part of the Does It Really Matter series by Pastor Jeremy Moyer. For anybody that would like to come to Unite sometime, make sure you come on down to Victory Church Greenfield Campus at 1827 Freedom Road, Lancaster, PA 17601, or email Pastor Jeremy at jmoyer@victorychurch.ws. And without further ado, here is today's message.
Here we go, guys. I want to talk to you first things first about the thing in my life that I quit. I wish I never would have. I went to this college called 24/7. When I went there, I was 18, just graduated from high school, went there. It's a very intense, physically demanding, challenging program. We started on our first day of orientation. We had a 5-mile run in Colorado Springs, Colorado, which is at over like a mile high. We ran upwards of Pikes Peak, and it was just ridiculous. That was our first day. A 5-mile run at a mile high. It's way different than running in PA. Like, I could run in PA, no problem, 5 miles. I get to Colorado, I try to run 5 miles, I'm about dying because the air is, it's like there's no air there to breathe, okay? It's like someone, I don't know, it's like someone barfing in your mouth and then making you run 5 miles. That's how tough it is, really. No, that's how tough it is. Not easy. So we trained for 3 months, right, to do this thing called an Ironman. How many of you guys have heard of an Ironman? Okay? We trained to do this thing called an Ironman. An Ironman is this. First off, you start out by swimming 2.6 or so, a little over 2 miles swimming, okay? That's like swimming from here to as far as you ever swim in your life without stopping, okay? So you swim over 2 miles, which takes you a couple hours, most likely. And when you get done with that, you're going to go and you're going to run a marathon, which is 26.2 miles. Thank you, guys. So after you swim over 2 miles, then you're going to jump right out of the pool, and you're going to go run 26 miles. Then as soon as you get done running 26 miles, and this is in Colorado, it had snowed 2 days before, and so we were literally, at one point, we were running on ice outside. 26 miles on snow, on ice, on gravel, outdoors. Your fingers feel like they're going to fall off because they're frozen. And then after that, then you get on a bicycle and you ride for 100 and forever. You ride like 120 some miles then, right, Eden, do you know? It's like 120 some miles on a bike then, okay? I trained, and right before the day of the event, I went and I said, you know what, I can't do it. I'm not up for it. I don't feel well. Really, my reason was this. I didn't want to struggle. I didn't want to do something that would require me to give 100%. I had to run the marathon to graduate, so I knew I had to do that. So I was like, you know what, I can do the minimum. I can do just whatever will get me through, whatever will get me graduated, and I'm done. I didn't want to give 100%. There's this girl, okay? There was this, a lot of girls completed the Ironman. There was a girl, she started, get this, we started at 6 a.m. in the morning with our swim. It took her twice as long to do her swim than any other person. It took her almost 3 times as long to run the marathon as any other person. She started at 6 a.m. and she finished her last mile of bike at 7 a.m. the next morning. She went 24 hours straight, never stopped, never quit, never gave up. 24 plus hours of swimming, running, and riding a bike. Now, did she do it slower than everyone else? Yeah. But it required so much more of her than anyone else. And when I saw her do that, all I could think of was, I wish I would not have given up. I wish I would not have quit that before I ever began it. And even today, I look back and say, you know what? I'll probably never again attempt to do an Ironman, and I wish I would have done it then. I wish I wouldn't have given up and quit before it ever began. The thing is, guys, it's not always about finishing first in life or in any kind of competition or any sport. Sometimes it's simply about finishing what you started. It's about when you make a commitment to something and you get halfway through and you realize, hey, I'm not going to win this. I'm not going to be first. My team might not make the playoffs. I might not be the huge success I thought I was going to be. But I started this, I committed to it, I'm not going to quit now. It's not always about finishing first. It's about finishing what you started. The most important part of your life today is what will still matter the day after you die. So notice we're talking about quitting and not quitting. this is something I want you guys to know. Lock it into your brains. The most important part of your life today is what will still matter the day after you die. Right now, you could probably make a list of 5 things that you spent time on this week that the day after you die, no one will remember. It will matter for nothing. How good you looked in this life will not matter the day after you die. How talented you were will not matter the day after you die. The most important thing in life is what will matter after you're gone. Here's the first part of this. This is going to be for goal number 1. And I'm going to have you guys write something down, so just hold on a second before you start writing in that part. If you want to use the back of that to write some notes, awesome. The first thing that matters most in life is your faith and your relationship with God. Your faith and your relationship with God, because the day after you die, or should I say the moment after you die, this kind of becomes really important. This kind of becomes a big deal the moment you stop breathing. The moment your soul leaves your body and your body just disintegrates and there's no life left to it, and your soul then goes to begin eternity, this becomes a big deal. Let's be honest, it might not be a big deal to you today, yesterday, tomorrow. Your faith and your relationship with God might not matter that much. But I guarantee you, the day after you die, it will be a big deal then. So that's why it's the most important thing. There's a parable in Matthew 13 that Jesus talks about. It talks about a farmer who went out to start a crop, to start a field. And so as he took some of his seed to throw out and to start planting, growing crops, the first part of it fell on a pathway. And when it fell on the pathway, immediately birds swooped down and ate up the seeds. So they never had a chance at life. They never had a chance to come to a healthy state of being. They never had life at all. Then on the second part of where he threw and planted his seeds were what fell on, who knows? Rocks, good job. It fell on rocky soil. So what happened was immediately the seeds took root and they took life. But as they started growing, there wasn't enough room because the rocks were kind of hogging the soil. And so their roots were not able to develop because the rocks were in their way. There was a stumbling block to them. It caused them from becoming all that they could be. And eventually they died. The third group, you guys know what happened to them? Weeds. So the seeds fell in beautiful soil. They fell in rich, nutritious, awesome soil, and they started growing. And they grew so awesome. And they looked so beautiful, and they were so strong, and they were going to have a great life ahead of them. These plants were. And then all of a sudden, these thorns started growing all around them. And maybe even in your life now, you know the thorns that are growing up around your faith. They're growing up around what God's doing in your life. And before long, the thorns choked out the good seeds. The thorns choked out what God had planted, what God was trying to do. The thorns came and demolished and ate. The same thing for a lot of you guys with the rocks. Your faith is trying to grow. It's trying to take root in your life. God's trying to do something, but you got rocks in your life. That's sin, that's separation from God, and it's just, your faith just keeps hitting this wall. Your faith keeps hitting this rock, and it can't grow because there's stuff in your life that's stopping it. And the last seeds that the farmer threw out, it fell on good ground and good soil, and it grew and it flourished, and it grew a crop 10 times, 100 times over, okay? And it was healthy. Now, sometimes our faith falls into one of these 4 categories. Sometimes our faith gets eaten up so quickly it doesn't even have a chance to live. Sometimes our faith gets scattered around the rocks in our life. For some of us, we came to know God long after we already had a lot of junk in our lives. Okay? I grew up in church, but by the time I actually got my life pointed toward God, by the time I actually decided, you know what, I want to give God my all, there's a lot of rocks in my life, a lot of junk that shouldn't have been there, and it caused a huge barrier to my faith taking root. And then for some of us, our faith actually takes off, and it's going great, and before we know it, these thorns start growing up in our lives, and they kind of try and blend in with our faith, the same color, they match, they look good, but secretly, the thorns are killing and murdering our faith, hogging all the nutrition, hogging all the energy. And for some of us, our faith goes deep into good soil, where we've eliminated the rocks from our life, we've cut the weeds out. We said, I give God all of it. And that's when our faith will take off. That's when your faith will come alive. And I'm starting to get there. I'm starting to weed out some rocks. I'm starting to weed out some of those thorns that have been nagging at me, and some of those thorns that have been in my way of holding me back. Am I 100% good soil yet? No. But I'm working toward that. Here's what I love. I actually stole this off of Ian's Facebook. I saw this day. There's a picture of Muhammad Ali. I love this. It says, even the greatest of greatest fall. Get back up, dust yourself, and keep it moving. Okay? Sometimes this is what you guys just got to do in your battle for faith. Your faith is not going to be an easy adventure. It's not going to be a thing, oh, I'm just going to step outside and it's going to be a beautiful sunny day every day. Some days it's going to pour. Some days there's going to be storms. Some days your faith is going to feel like you're a ship tossed at sea and there's no hope of ever getting back to the dock. Your faith is sometimes going to seem so alone and so out there, and that God is the only one who even knows what's going on in your life. Your faith's going to fall down. It's going to get beat up. It's going to get bruised. At that moment in time, get back up. Throw that rock to the side. Cut down that weed and keep growing. Here's what I want you guys to do. I'm going to give you guys like 1 minute on goal number 1. I want you to write down, what is your own spiritual goal? What's something you're going to say, this is my spiritual goal. This is what I want to, this is my faith purpose. This is what I want to start doing with my faith. So maybe you got to eliminate some rocks. Maybe you got to cut down some weeds. I want you guys to write this down on that piece of paper because you're going to talk about it in small groups tonight. What's your goal? You guys can be as deep spiritual as you want to be. You can be as realistic and just humanly, this is my life and this is what I got to do. But what's your spiritual goal? Because the day after you die, your faith and relationship with God will matter a great deal. You got to have a goal set to know how you're going to get to where you need to be. Second one is this: how you affect someone else's eternity. Okay? How you affect someone else's eternity. There's another slide here. I want to put you guys up here. It says, winners never quit, quitters never win. Now, I know you guys how well you guys can see it. How many of you guys remember we did the 1x1 series over here? Raise your hand. You were here for this one. The 1x1 series. Here's what I told you guys. I remember because I was looking through my notes. I told you that because we did this whole series on 1x1 talking about you. Listen, you and you and you and you. You leading someone to Jesus Christ. You personally helping someone discover a relationship with God for the first time. I told you guys as you know, I said, my goal is that every one of you with this year, in 2013, this school year, every one of you would be responsible for someone without hope, without God, finding those two things. Finding God and finding hope. And I told you I believe you could do it. I told you I believe if you gave your heart and your soul, you gave 100% of everything you have to that mission, you would change someone's life for eternity. You would affect someone. You'd affect their life that the day after they died, where they would be in large portion because of what you did in their life. And that's not going to be easy. And you might not feel like you're winning it sometimes, but winners never quit, and quitters will never win these people to God. When you say, you know what, I'm going to give up. It's just too difficult. It's too tough, Jeremy. I try to talk to them all the time. They don't even want to be friends with me. I can't even imagine talking to them about God because they don't even they blow me off every day. But something inside of me says, I know they just need God. They need God in their life, and that is why they're so walled off to everything, because they're so just hurt and broken on the inside. You know, we got names on here like Leah Finch. You guys wrote these names on here. I said, I want you to write down who you want to see come to God and who you want to see come out to unite with you guys. And some of you guys we've seen. Livy, Ryan, Vanessa, Andrew, Alexis, Taylor, Anthony, Kristen, Alex, Josh, Kobe, right here. Kobe, where are you at? Kobe, your name's right here. Then when someone wants to see you come out to unite. Jake, And then over here, we started writing names. We said, hey, if you're new, we want you to put your name on this board. The white boxes are starting to get filled up, you know? Dude, it's been so cool. Claire Tracy, she came out to Unite, and it's been a blast getting to know her. She is an awesome girl. Yeah. Come on, Claire. Okay? Sheldon, right here. Sheldon. Sheldon, dude, it's been so cool getting to know you, you know? And we got names like Michael Ratchford. Dude, this guy is a rock star. Okay? Morgan Wagner. Morgan, you came out and you got a Rookie of the Year this year. I mean, look at this. You guys have been inviting people to come out to Unite, and it's been awesome having them become part of our family here. But there's a whole lot of names still missing from that list. And I wonder if names are still missing because we've kind of gotten to the point where we said, you know what? That's good enough. Maybe we got to the point like I did where I said, you know what? Running a marathon's good enough. I don't need to go for the whole Ironman. Because it's not good enough to almost get someone to know God. It's not good enough to say, yeah, we almost won the game. That's cool. So I encourage you guys. Don't quit. Don't quit making an effort to affect someone else's eternity. Don't ever quit that. Don't give up. Don't stop. Whatever the cost, you do not ever stop trying to make an effect on someone else's eternity. Because you will make a difference when you choose not to quit. Because winners never quit. And quitters will never, ever win. Here's the third one. The hope you give to everyone who knows you. I think this is the third most important thing you will do with your life. If you guys haven't caught it, this actually follows three things that we believe here at Unite. It's our three cores, things you guys will see on almost every t-shirt, on the backs of them. On the count of three, you guys give me a loud as Unite can, what those three are. 1, 2, 3. You guys got it. Passion, love, and hope. This is the hope part of it. The hope you give to everyone who knows you. Can I just tell you, if you are a Christian in this place tonight, every person who knows you, they better have something good to say about you. If you call yourself a follower of Jesus Christ, every person they should be able to look at you and name something about you that's different from the way the rest of their friends treat them. They should be able to look at you and say, you know what? Who do I got here? Who do I got? They should be Taylor, I saw on your Facebook this week, you said something about I want to go to school and I want to give a compliment or say something nice to everyone, didn't you? People, when they think of you and your name, they should be able to say, Justin Blanchard. Justin Blanchard would never talk behind my back. I know him. He's one of those Jesus freaks. He doesn't do that kind of stuff. They should be able to look and say, Zach Barstow? Zach Barstow would never say he hates someone because he's one of those Jesus freaks. And I guess Jesus freaks don't hate people. People should know who you are by how you act and how you live and the choices you make. So what kind of hope are you giving to those who know you? When you choose to not make a positive difference, you're already making a negative one. When you're in a relationship with someone or you're hanging out with friends and you see a great opportunity to do something for the better, to do something for the positive, and you step back and you go, you know what? I don't really want to make that choice. I don't want to make that decision. I don't want to make something for the positive. You're already making one for the negative. Never quit. Never quit giving hope to everyone who knows you. Okay? So here, let's go back to goal 2 quick. Sorry, I missed this, guys. On goal 2 on your sheet, I want you to write down someone's name. Maybe you have a couple. Who do you want to affect for eternity? Name someone. And it can be someone who is a believer. You can challenge them to be a better Christian. You can challenge someone who's not a believer, who doesn't know God. And you can start work your butt off to say, how can I show them love? How can I show them there's something different about me? How can I show them there's something better in life than just living for yourself? So goal number 2, who are you going to affect for eternity? Whose day after they die is going to be different because of you? I can sit here right now and I can name probably 10 people in my life who are the reason that when I die, my life will be different. 10 people who cared enough to love me when I didn't deserve it, to preach to me, to invite me to church, to make sure I was studying my Bible, to make sure that I was actually living the way Christians should. And here's goal number 3. This is your last goal to write down. What are you going to change to give positive hope to everyone you know? What are you going to change to give positive hope to everyone who you know? What are you going to start doing? I love what Taylor said on Facebook, And Taylor, I don't know if you're doing it for whatever reason, but maybe it was, hey, I want my friends to be able to see what I'm committing to and hold me accountable. But she made a commitment. She goes, I want everyone I see today to hear something nice about them from me. She said, I'm going to change something in my life to be more positive, to give hope to people who know me. How are you going to be more of a hope giver? How are you going to carry Unite's third core value of saying, I will give someone hope today? I will be the reason someone felt today was worth living. You guys ever have it? Raise your hand. You ever have a day you're just like, I wish, like today, I don't even know why I was alive today. I don't even know what the purpose was. And anyone else besides me? Like at the end of the night, you just go, I felt like I could have just skipped today my whole life and just never have had the day happen. Christians, hey, if you're a Christian, any day you see someone, any day you have a conversation with someone, that person at the end of the day should never have that thought. Because you are God in their life at that moment in time. You are the love. You are the hope. You are the joy. You are the peace. You are the understanding. You're the hands and feet of God in that moment. So anyone who knows you and anyone who has a conversation during the day, at the end of the day, they better say, you know what? Today was like the worst day of my life, but Brandon, he was just nice to me today. But Chris, he sent me a text, and that was the only thing that went good in my days. He thought about me. He said, hey, man, how you doing? Always made a difference in someone's life. Paul, the great apostle Paul, had a great goal in life. You guys just wrote down 3 goals for yourself. This was his goal. I believe Paul's goal was, he said that I want to live my life in a way that every person who I have the chance of influencing, every person who knows my name will be different because of something I can do in their life, because of something I can give them, because of a hope, because of an encouragement, because of something I can do to make a difference in their life. And this is what happened. Paul, in 1 Corinthians 11, he gives an account of everything he suffered, everything he went through. Everything happened to him that he didn't quit during. Check this out. This is crazy. This is what happened. This is what he says. He goes, I have worked harder, been put in prison more often, been whipped times without number, and faced death again and again. Raise your hand if you've been through this. I don't think so. So, 5 different times the Jewish leaders gave me 39 lashes. The 39 lashes is 39, it's whippings, it's a kind of a beating kind of thing. And the reason they gave 39, this is it. They gave, really the technical term was, they said 40 lashes minus 1. And the reason they did that was 40 lashes, if you were sentenced 40 lashes, it was a sentence of death. They said if you were to deserve death, give him 40 lashes, that will kill him. So when they gave someone 39 lashes, they said, give him everything you got and just leave like 1% of his health bar left so he can survive. Okay? They said, bring him as close to death as possible. 40 minus 1, give him 39 lashes, but not 40, because 40 would kill him, but give him 39. Is that crazy? Like, think about that for a moment. They said, almost kill him. And this is what Paul says. 5 different times the Jewish leaders gave me 39 lashes. So this didn't happen to him once. Like, this happened to Jesus once. Okay? Once Jesus was given 39 lashes. 5 times, 5 different times this happened to me. He goes, 3 times I was beaten with rods. That can't feel good. Once I was stoned. Literal stones. 3 times I was shipwrecked. I would say get a new captain. Once I spent a whole night and day adrift at sea. That's before they had like rafts and like safety rafts, stuff like that. So he was just hanging out. My goodness, Paul, not a fun life, bro. He says, I have traveled on many long journeys. I have faced danger from rivers and from robbers. I have faced danger from my own people, from the Jews as well as from the Gentiles. I have faced danger from men who claim to be believers and are not. I have worked hard and long, enduring many sleepless nights. I have been hungry and thirsty and have often gone without food. I have shivered in the cold without enough clothing to keep me warm. And he never quit. Like, he never quit. He never quit on his goal of doing everything he could to see one more person know God. And that's what he went through. That's what he endured. That's what he did not give up. Even though he discovered his own faith. And after you discover your own faith, which is goal number 1, and your faith is on the right track, and you're in great relationship with Jesus and God, and your faith is a roller coaster of steam going in the right direction, after that you say, okay, now my focus is everyone around me. How do I help others get to where God has taken me? Leaving what is behind and living for what is ahead. He also wanted to impact as many people as possible with the hope of Jesus Christ. Just as many people as possible. How can I put a banner in the sky that says, God is for real and he really doesn't care about your mistakes. He really loves you enough to forget about them. That was his mission. How do I make as many people in the world know that God is real and he really loves them? That is why he was willing to endure such pain, because it was for such a great cause with his life. Such a great cause, such a great mission, such a great goal. And when you have a great goal in life, you're willing to go through great pain. When you have a great goal in life, you're willing to endure great pain because you understand what it's for. Many of us guys and girls, hey, let's be honest. We live our life for what makes us feel good. Say amen. Amen means you agree with it. Say it again. We live our lives for what makes us feel good. This is a short-lived life, not remembered and never equaling greatness. A life lived for ourselves and for what makes us feel good is a life short-lived, not remembered, and will never equal greatness. When you live every day for what makes me feel good today, what can I do to make myself feel better? How can I have the path of least resistance? What's the easiest choice for me to make today? How can I go like 50% on my goals? How can I quit without anyone knowing I could really quit? When we stop living for the easy pleasures of this life, we start accomplishing your 3 goals. So when you can start saying no to the easy pleasures of this life, to the things that are instant gratification, things that make you feel really good really fast, when you can start saying no to those, you will see your goals start becoming a reality. And that is because you never quit, you never gave up. Doesn't matter how many times you got knocked down, beat up, doesn't matter how many times your faith got wrung through the mud. You never quit, you never said no, you never gave up, you never said die. You continued on. I want to show you guys a really cool video I found this week. I was watching one of my friends. This is an awesome story about a guy. Check this video out. Here we go.
To me, it's just, it's my sense of freedom, I guess you could say. Like, if I'm having a stressful day, I can get on my bike and everything goes away. Like, you don't think about anything. Everything is just like, it's there. Everything's on point when you're on a bike. I feel like Superman. I've been riding my whole life. Around 7, that's when I really turned it on, and I was like, hey, this is what I want to do. I feel like a lot of people have, pity parties. People, I'll say, hey, what happened to you? And I'll tell them my story, and they'll be like, oh, I'm so sorry. But I mean, to me, I don't understand why you're sorry, because I do. I do more things than people that can walk and do use their legs. So if you want to feel down about it, there's no reason to. When you're still living, you're waking up every day, you should be happy. You should be happy that you made it to that next day. I didn't even really know what paralyzed was, but once it happens, it's just kind of like, boom, it just clicks. It's kind of scary. 15, like my parents weren't there, I was by myself. The last lap I came around from the outside and tried to jump in, it was wet and I didn't know it. And I just lost all the momentum and I didn't make it all the way. And I went over the handlebars and the bike landed on my back. Tried to get up, my legs wouldn't work. Tried to get up a second time, I was like, man, something's wrong. And then before I knew it, I just felt like somebody set my back on fire, man. It was just burning. And I remember everyone running over to me and crying. The first thing the doctor said to me is like, you'll never walk again, you'll never ride again. And I just looked at him and I was like, you're wrong. You want to show them the opposite, you know? Like, if I say I'm going to get walking again, I'm going to get walking. If I say I'm going to get riding again, I'm going to get riding, you know? I'm a man of my word. It's nothing that's going to get in my way. It's nothing that's going to stop me. Nothing's going to hold me back. I'm going to the Raiders this year. People tell me I'm inspiring. To me, I'm just riding a dirt bike. That's all I'm doing. I mean, you have so many obstacles in life, and I just deal with it very well. Every day, me living, having fun, just doing whatever I love to do. It inspires other people and it helps them. So I think it's a great thing, and I feel like that's one of the reasons that it happened to me. Just because I can cope with it, I can deal with it, and at the same time, I can help other people while I'm doing what I'm doing. I know that I'm here for a reason, for a purpose. It's the fact of having some people on my side that kind of push me and encourage me is kind of like, you know, yeah, I got this. I can do it. I can do it. Let's go. Don't let anyone tell you no or no, you can't do it. Don't let anyone shoot you down. I mean, because I've been in that same place and it doesn't feel good. But once you're on top, it's like the best feeling in the world.
That's cool. That's a cool story. I love my favorite line of that whole thing is when he goes, people come up to me and they tell me, you're an inspiration. And he says, I look back and say, man, I'm just riding a dirt bike. I'm just doing what I love. I'm just doing what I was made to do. Here's my mission for you, Unite, is that people in your school, in your family, in your sports teams, in your neighborhoods would come up to you and they'd go, Talia, you're such an inspiration. JR, you're so motivating. You're such an inspiration to me. They say, Tanner, you're such an inspiration on the team, man. Justin, you're such an inspiration. That people would come up to you and say, you are such an inspiration to me. And you would look at them and say, I'm just being a Christian, man. I'm just doing what I was made to do. I was just doing what I was created for. Because what I was created for, you know, it's pretty simple. I was created to love God. And I was created to love you. I was created to live a life of caring and giving and serving and surrendering. And even, man, I was even created to live a life where I would die to myself so that I could affect your eternity, brother. I was set here, and my purpose in life is to make sure that you spend eternity with God. That's one of my purposes. So you know what? I ain't trying to impress no one. I'm not trying to be this huge inspiration. I'm just trying to do what God created me to do. Simple. And when we just do what God created us for, when we just do what we were made for, you change lives. That guy was just doing what he loved. And he inspired us tonight, didn't he? He inspired us to say, you know what? Man, I ain't paralyzed. I don't have to quit what's been nagging at me. I don't have to quit what I thought I was going to give up on. Because he didn't quit. What if your story, what if your life changed someone's eternity? What if you never quit? What if you never gave up? What if your 3 goals that you wrote down tonight become the reason you live? And you give up living for what makes you feel good all the time. And you live for something that will matter the day after you die. I'm going to pray for you guys. Dear God, thank you so much. Thank you so much for a story of a guy on a motorcycle that, if nothing else, God, it tells us we don't have to give up what we're going through. In our struggle with our faith, in our struggle with our family and our friends, it might be tough, but man, it ain't near that tough. And that might be difficult, but if he can do it, I know I can. God, I ask you by your Holy Spirit's power now that you show up in the lives of every uniter in this place, that you give them the ability to smash the rocks that are holding their faith back, That you give them the ability to chop down those weeds and pull those roots out that are not right and not supposed to be in their lives. God, may tonight make goals 1, 2, and 3 that were simply wrote on a piece of paper become the reason we live, the reason we're alive. That people would honestly look at us and our only answer would be, I'm just doing what I was made for. I'm just doing what God created me for. I'm just loving people and loving God. And at the end of the day, it's all that really matters. Love God and love people. Amen.
Thank you for listening to today's podcast. For more information, please go to victorychurch.ws or download our free app on iOS and Android devices. It's absolutely free, so pick it up. We'll see you next week.